Family for Kids Corporation. Today we're here in Tampa, Florida at the Big Cat Rescue. Big Cat Rescue is a nonprofit educational sanctuary dedicated to rescuing and providing a home to exotic cats that have been abused, abandoned, bred to be pets, retired from performing acts, or saved from being slaughtered for fur coats, and to educating the public about these animals and the issues they face, both in the wild and in captivity. With me is Big Cat Rescue President Jamie Veronica. I've seen several news stories about bobcat kittens and the domestic cat that has adopted them here at Big Cat Rescue. What can you tell us about them?
These kittens were about 2 weeks old when we got the call about them, and they were from Alabama. A hunter had found them in the woods and brought them to an animal clinic, and the clinic called us to see if we could rehabilitate them for release in the wild. These kittens need the least amount of human contact as possible in order to be able to be released back into the wild and not become a nuisance to the public. So we recruited a domestic cat mom that was still nursing her kittens, and we integrated the little bobcat kittens into her family, and she's taking care of them. The plan will be to raise them to about a year of age and then release them back into the wild.
So do you also release other animals into the wild?
Currently, we only do bobcat rehabilitation. The FWC is in charge of all Florida Panthers. And then the rest of the cats, there's actually not very many programs to release them back into the wild. There's a lot of breeding programs to breed populations that could be released into the wild, but currently there aren't any programs doing that.
Many people think that exotic cats make great pets. Is this true?
Unfortunately, it's not. Most of our cats here were pets at one time. A lot of people don't realize that these cute little kittens, once they become about a year to 3 years of age, that they'll actually become mature and aggressive and territorial. So a lot of times these people have these animals as pets and they just don't work out once they get a little bit older. Probably more than half of the population that we have here, which is over 100 big cats, were once pets.
How was Big Cat Rescue founded?
We were actually founded, we were pet owners. My mother found a bobcat at an auction, and the guy had it as a pet and he didn't want it anymore. So she bought it from him and decided, I'll try this out and see if it makes a good pet. It didn't make a good pet. The bobcat was already over a year old, and she was getting aggressive and territorial and became quite a terror in the house. And so my mom heard that if you raise them from a baby, that they'll be more tame and they'll bond to you. So she found a place that was selling kittens, bobcat kittens, and she went to the place to purchase one of the kittens, and there was a whole bunch of kittens, 56 to be exact. And she asked the breeder, is there really that many people that have bobcats as kittens? And he said, no, we'll probably sell some of them, but whatever's left we'll raise to a year old and then we'll slaughter them for their fur. And she, being an animal person, could not stand the idea of this. So she bought all 56 kittens from the breeder, and she contracted with him that he wouldn't breed the cats for fur anymore.
How do you transport some of your larger animals, such as tigers and lions?
On the property, we transport some of the bigger cats using a rolling cage, and what we'll do is we'll roll it up to their enclosure and put some food in it, and the cat will go in and we can roll them to wherever we want to move them.
How do you feed some of your larger animals, and what do you feed them?
We feed a mixed diet it's based on a prepared carnivore diet, which has all their vitamins and bone and different organ meats, all the really important foods for them, all mixed into a prepared ground diet. We supplement that with like chicken legs that you would get at the grocery store, so they have bones to chew on and it helps clean their teeth. We also give them chunks of beef, and the smaller cats get littler pieces of chicken with bones in it so that they can also get that crunching and cleaning of their teeth. We feed all of our cats in these smaller feeding lockouts is what we call them, and that's where we do their operant conditioning. We get them to go into these feeding lockouts for operant conditioning, but also for food time, so that if we do need to get the cat into this smaller cage where we want to do put some advantage on them for flea treatment or do their vaccinations, they really like coming into this smaller area to eat, so it's a good experience for them.
How should someone react when they see a cat in the wild?
The best way to react when you see a cat in the wild is to just leave it alone. And here in Florida, we have a lot of natural wooded areas and subdivisions, and of course you're going to see wildlife that lives there, bobcats and raccoons and foxes, and it's best just to leave them alone, not to chase them or taunt them, and definitely never to feed them.
I've had the privilege of touring the facility, and some of the enclosures seemed really big. What can you tell us about that?
Most of our enclosures are at least 1,200 to 2,000 square feet, and some are even as big as 3 acres that have lake access for our tigers to be able to swim. All of our enclosures are very natural. They have lots of vegetation and trees and bushes to hide in, and they have concrete dens where they can be in the shade and cool off in the summer, or in the winter stay warm.
What can you tell our viewers about roadside zoos?
There are a lot of roadside zoos and pseudo-sanctuaries across the country, and the public really needs to be aware of these facilities so that they are supporting the right kinds of places. There are many zoos across the country that are AZA accredited, and that means that they have specific guidelines that they have to follow as far as animal care and housing for the animals. Roadside zoos will not be accredited. There'll be smaller collections of animals that you'll see maybe along the highways, and these are mostly people that are just in it for profit. They don't necessarily have the best animal care standards, and so it's really important that the public knows not to support these kind of places.
Where can our viewers get more information on Big Cat Rescue?
We have a very large website, bigcatrescue.org. It's over 2,000 pages of information on all the cats. We have lots of interactive games on there, lots of information on that site.
Well, for Kids Corporation, I'm Emily. See you soon.